Welcome to the Story in Your Head podcast. In this week's episode, Dr. Evan Mladenoff joins Ron to talk about one of our favorite holiday topics, and that is stress. We all get stressed out from time to time, so Dr. M gives us some great ways that we can actually measure the performance of our stress system at home, and also some ways that we can alleviate the symptoms of our stress so we can live a longer and more thriving life. Enjoy the podcast.
Hey, Ron, I just wanted to give you a heads up. Holidays are just a few days away now. Everybody's getting all excited about Christmas. Our family's coming in tonight. Tomorrow night. I don't even know. It's like my to-do list is getting shorter and longer at the same time. So it's all great, but there's lots of stress. Lots of positive stress, but there's also lots of sadness because we lose loved ones around this time of year too. And so what I was thinking is, for your listeners, I got a couple of quick tests that they can do at home to just see how they're doing.
Okay.
They're real simple tests. Now, the first one is a really great test. And this actually came out of a bunch of research with the COVID lockdown stuff. And, it's real simple. So the first test is you're going to measure the circumference of your chest. Now, it's easier on the guys because you're going to do it at the level of the nipples.
Okay.
Right? Then you're going to blow your breath out as far as you can, and then make the tape measure go in as small as it can go.
Yep.
Then you're going to take a deep breath in and then see how much your rib cage expands.
Okay.
Okay. So now here's the cool thing. Independent of any diagnosis, those people that their chest does not expand at least 2 inches will die faster than those that can expand their chest more than 2 inches.
So let me repeat back what I heard. If your chest can expand less than 2 inches, you're going to live a shorter life because the stress is higher. Right?
Independent of any illness. And that's the cool part of it.
Any illness. And then if it's over 2 inches,
that's where you want to be.
You want to be. So the goal is to have your chest, when you inhale, right, expand 2 inches or more.
Correct.
Got it.
Correct. Yeah. And who are the people that were most susceptible and had their demise during COVID? People with lung problems that can't make their chest get bigger.
They can't inhale or expand the chest.
They can't get oxygen into and they have to go on the respirators, right? But the cool part of that measurement is it doesn't matter if you got diabetes, you had a stroke, you got COVID, whatever it is, if you can't expand your chest, all those people died faster.
Okay. Now
so this was not a COVID study, right?
Got it. I understand. And Let's say, what do we do if our chest doesn't expand but 1 3/4 inches?
Okay. So a couple of things. First of all, you got to make sure your chest muscles are working properly. You got to make sure your ribs are mobile and moving. You got to make sure your spine is mobile. So things you can do are what I call intentional, purposeful movement, like Tai Chi, like Qigong, passive restorative yoga, things that make your body move with a breathing component. And then the other thing is you need to come in and get adjusted. You need to have your spine mobile and the nerves from the middle part of your body working properly to make those chest muscles work properly. And so that's something that's easily done. That's why we have patients come in, about once a month or sometimes more for care, because we want to keep those ribs mobile. We want to keep the thoracic spine moving. So some real simple things.
Yeah, I got to tell you, when we get out here, I'm going to go measure my chest to see.
There you go. Excellent.
Chest, right? Yeah.
Okay, perfect. But make sure you blow all your air out first. Yep. So make your chest as small as you can first. Then take that big deep breath in and see how it expands.
Cool.
Okay, so now ladies, it's going to be a little harder because you got to do it at about the level of where the nipples are. And so if you have an uplifting bra, those that have are well endowed. Make sure you're wearing a bra that lifts you up, and then compresses you a little bit, just so you can get an accurate measurement.
So you want to get what the chest rib cage actually expands, right?
Correct.
Okay, got it.
Correct.
Cool.
And the level of the nipples is actually the widest part of your chest to begin with. So for ladies, if you can find where the widest part of your chest is, the rib cage, that's where you can start from.
Cool. Great. What's next?
Okay, so the next test, this is also independent of any condition, okay? Yep. If you can stand on one foot, so take your shoes off, right? on a firm surface. Don't do it on the carpet. Okay. Stand on one foot with your eyes open for 10 seconds.
Okay. So just stand on, it doesn't matter which foot. What? Just pick one foot.
Well, you got to do both.
Oh,
right?
You do one foot and then you do the other foot.
Do one foot, then do the other one.
Okay.
And then you should do it 3 times. So you get one for practice, right?
Okay.
So if you do it 3 times, right? And so that tells us about different parts of the brain. But if you can't do it for 10 seconds, like, okay, then you need to do some stuff to make your brain work better, and specifically the balance part of your brain. Now, if you can do it on each leg for 10 seconds, that's awesome. Now try it with your eyes closed. Now make sure there's somebody there with you, and so you don't fall or anything like that happens, right?
Or something to grab onto.
That's right. Okay. Actually, what we had to tell patients is, just take your index finger, and if you're doing it in the kitchen, just put your index finger just off of the table or the counter,
okay,
so that if you start to move, you can just touch.
Okay.
Right. Just touch the countertop or whatever. So then try with your eyes closed. Excuse me. And then if you can't hold your balance that way, that tells us about different parts of your brain. But the study and the test was just with your eyes open. So it's giving us an indication of, okay, how's your brain doing in controlling your body? So real simple test. Anybody can do that. Obviously for young kiddos, like my grandkids, 3 and under, it's not going to work for them. Right. So just worry about us old folks that you start doing after 40, you should start doing this. Let's just put a number out there.
Okay. So right now we've got the breathing test, inhale, exhale, 2+ inches, right?
Yes.
Now we got the standing on each foot for 10 seconds at a time.
1 foot at a time.
1 foot at a time, each foot, right?
Okay. So the next one is a fun one. This is from traditional Chinese medicine. You stick out your tongue, right? So I'm going to show you in the video. Okay. And then is the very tip of your tongue, is it red? Okay. So Ron, okay, maybe, with the lighting and everything, right?
It's hard to say.
Hard to say, but look in the mirror or have someone, take their phone and put the light on the phone, right? But you have to stick out your tongue don't be bashful. You got to really stick it out.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But if the very tip, about maybe 1/8 of your tongue is red,
yes,
that's an indication that your internal environment is under stress, and maybe your heart is under stress too. Now, there's no urgency. There's no emergency.
Okay.
It's just a little red flag. Now, here's the good news and the bad news rolled into one. It doesn't matter what you do today, that tip of your tongue being red is not going to go away tomorrow. So if you do all the great things, you take some eye stressed out, you do some yoga, you have a nap, you do meditation, you spend 6 hours today doing that, tomorrow the tip of your tongue is still going to be red. And the dirty secret is it is a long-term indicator. It takes 30 days or more of your internal environment to be upset and irritated for it to be reflected on the tip of your tongue.
So I'm going to say it back so we can hold it, right?
Yes.
The tip of your tongue being red is a sign that your body is under stress.
Correct.
Okay. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay. So another one from traditional Chinese medicine is if you go to this little notch at the top of your chest, and it looks like probably feels like a letter U, right?
Right there.
That's it, right? Correct.
Right there.
Take your other hand, take your other hand, go to the bottom of your breastbone.
Yeah.
Okay. Go halfway in between those two spots and then rub on that spot. Is it tender?
No.
Okay. Good. It should not be tender. Okay.
Whew. I was worried wait, should it be tender? No. Okay.
So that one you don't have to worry about. The other two you have to go test, right? So that's an indicator of how your stress system is doing in the acupuncture system. So if light pressure is tender, okay, that tells us it's something recent. If you press a little firmer and then it gets tender, then that tells us it's a little more long-standing problem.
Okay.
It doesn't tell us what it is. It just tells us your body's under stress and it's losing a little bit.
Got it.
Right?
Okay.
So that one's real easy. Okay. So then the last one, this one's a little more difficult. You have to have a blood pressure cuff at home. So you're going to take your blood pressure. Now wherever your head goes, your blood pressure should go. And part of that is going to be controlled by your stress system. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to sit quietly with your feet on the ground for 2 minutes. And then you're going to take your blood pressure in the sitting position.
Okay.
Okay. So next you're going to lay down.
Okay.
And now wherever your head goes, your blood pressure goes. So your blood pressure, where's your head going? It's going down.
So your blood pressure should go down, but where does your hand go? Does it go on top of your chest when you're taking it or beside you?
Beside your head, just kind of keep your arms as straight as you can.
Like you're laying down,
right?
so it's just laying beside you.
Yep.
Okay, got it.
Perfect. Right. So when you lay down, now you should start, how long should it take for your blood pressure to change when your head changes position? And it should be an instantaneous change, right?
Oh, okay.
So when you lay down, you should start taking the blood pressure right away.
Okay. So you're looking for, does it go down? And also, does it go down quickly? Does it respond well?
Correct.
Okay.
All right. So now we're just worried about the first number. Does the first number, so when they say your blood pressure is 120 over 80.
Okay.
Okay. Let's just start with that. Let's say you're sitting, your blood pressure is 120 over 80.
Yep.
You lay down, as soon as your head touches the pillow, so to speak, start taking the blood pressure, it should go to 110 over maybe 75 to 80.
Okay, but we're mainly...
The second number should drop a little bit too, but it's the first one that is what we're basing the test on.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So then the next part is you're going to stand up. Now don't jump up, just get up at your normal rate of getting up.
So we're laying down, and I'm going to sit up and then stand up, right? To where I'm all the way up, all kind of in one motion.
One motion from laying down all the way up to standing.
Got it.
So now, if you get dizzy when you stand up, then you need to have someone there with you or something to hold on to. Okay. But some people, they might get dizzy, they might not get dizzy. But as soon as your feet touch the ground, you should start taking the blood pressure because your head is now up. So your blood pressure, you got to get the blood to your head when? Immediately.
And when you stand up, where does the blood pressure cuff go? Like where?
You never, arm by your side, right?
Just
let your arm
down, like pointing to the ground.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. Okay. So the blood, wherever you were when you were laying down, let's say you went to 110 over 75 when you were laying down. Now, when you stand up, you should go to at least 118 over 75 when you stand up.
So we were
okay. So let's start over. Sitting,
we were at one with feet on the floor, resting for 2 minutes. We were at 120.
120 over 80.
Over 80. Then when we lay down, it should go down to like 115.
110.
110.
It should go down 8 to 10 points. So 110 to 112.
Okay. And then when we stand up, it should go back up to 118. Not quite to 120, but
no, at least 118.
At least 118. Okay.
Okay. So now here's what you'll find on that third one. So what does it tell us when it doesn't do that? Okay. So when your blood pressure doesn't go down, when your head goes down, it means where the heart has to push the blood through. There's something making it go a little harder. And that's typically your kidneys and your liver.
Got it.
So if you've got some, and it's not telling us about liver disease. You just maybe your liver may be a little swollen or maybe a little toxic. Okay, your kidneys may be a little toxic too. You may have too many minerals in your kidney or not enough minerals in your kidney. It's just a little red flag that says, okay, the heart has to work harder to push the blood to get it to your head.
Got it.
Okay. And then when you stand up, your stress system is triggered by the change in head position. And then it says, okay, make the heart pump harder because we got to get the blood out of the legs, out of the abdomen, out of the chest, up to the head.
All the way to the brain. Got it.
All the way to the brain.
Got it.
All the way to the brain. So then wherever you are where you're laying down, it should go 8 to 10 points higher. So now I'm going to give you an example. This is a real bad example, but play with me. Okay. If your blood pressure is 300 over 200 when you're laying down, this is not good. Right?
Sounds not good. Yes.
But it should still go up when you stand up.
So it should increase as you stand up because your body has to work harder to pump the blood to your brain. Gravity is going to fight against the blood, right?
Correct.
Okay. Got it.
Correct. So now, having said that, if your blood pressure is 300 over 200 in any position, you need to be calling someone and going to see a doctor, a cardiologist, or ER. This is not good.
That's pretty high.
But I just like using that example because it doesn't, for this test, because we're testing your stress system, not heart function.
Yep, got it. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
We want to see the change in the first number, especially where your head changes position. So sitting first, laying down second, standing third.
And it should go from, like, for rough numbers, 120, lay down 110, stand up to at least 118.
Correct.
Right. And then and it's the delta we're looking for, right? There's a change in that, because that tells you your stress system's working as your body goes and does what it does.
Correct.
Cool.
Yeah. So they're real simple. So let's review them. First, can your chest get 2 inches bigger when you take a big, deep breath in?
Yep.
Number 2, can you stand on one foot for 10 seconds with your eyes open, then the other foot, eyes open for 10 seconds? That's awesome.
Yep.
And if you want to really challenge yourself, challenge your brain a little bit, try it with your eyes closed.
Cool. Got it.
Then the third thing is, stick out your tongue. Is the tip of your tongue red?
And red means that you're under stress. Red is
under stress,
like a red indicator light that you're under stress. Yes.
Just like the dashboard on your car, right?
Cool.
Okay. Now the difference is that takes about 30 days to develop in your tongue. So that means the stress has been there for a while. Your body is slipping a little bit and you need to pay attention to some things.
Got it.
Okay.
Yep.
Then the fourth one is you go to that little notch at the top of your breastbone.
Yep.
Go to the bottom of your breastbone, go halfway in between those 2 points and just rub on that. Is it tender?
And it can be like a little tender when you just barely touch it, or it could also be a little more tender as you push a little harder, it becomes tender.
Correct.
And those mean different things. We talked about those.
Yes. They're different things. Okay. But those are also, unlike the tongue, those are like short-term indicators, right? So that, if I got stressed out because my microphone wasn't working and my headphones weren't working and everything, we're getting ready to do this.
Yep.
Okay, I'd push on it. It's like it might be a little sensitive, but in an hour after everything's calmed down and we did okay, it's like I push on it, it would go away.
Got it.
Right.
Yep.
But if it's there, so for example, let's say you were a professional athlete and you're in the Super Bowl and you're getting ready to kick a game-winning field goal and you touch that thing, would that thing be tender? And it's like, there'd be a lot of stress under that. So there might be some tenderness there, but you know what?
Yes.
An hour later after you win, you touch that thing and it's like, it's gone. It's like, cool.
That's great. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
And then the last one is the blood pressure changing. Like as you sitting, rest for 2 minutes, lay down, take your test, stand up, take your test, and do it immediately when you sit and you lay down or you stand up. And what you're looking for is with the delta. And it should go down 10 and up at least 8.
Yep. Perfect.
Cool.
Now, don't be surprised. To your listeners, don't be surprised when you stand up. There will be patients where that number might drop 20 points. So, which means it's gone 30 points in the wrong direction, and they won't be dizzy.
And they won't be dizzy.
They won't be dizzy. Yeah. But you'll have other patients where it'll stay the same. So it will not increase when they stand up, and they'll be dizzy and they have to hang on because it feels like they're going to fall. So all kinds of strange things can happen when you go from the laying to the standing.
So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what the blood pressure cuff is telling you.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So now let's say we have less than 2 inches expansion. We have, what's the second one again?
Can't hold your balance for 10 seconds.
Can't hold your balance on one or both feet. And right. Then you have,
third one, tip of your tongue is red.
Oh, your tip of your tongue is red.
Yeah, so you're being too nice. You have to stick out your tongue and be like, ah.
Right. Tip of your tongue is red, right? And then you have
center of your breastbone.
Center of your breastbone is tender, right?
Yes.
Right. And now you also have this where you lay down and you stand up, your blood pressure does not come back up, right? So you have like all of these are indicators to telling you you're under stress.
Right.
Now what?
Well, the 5 most dangerous words in the English language are maybe it will go away. And I promise you, some of those might change. If you did that every day, especially the one in your breastbone, that might change daily, right? Depending on, where you're at, what you're doing, your honey-do list has increased, which probably after this podcast, my honey-do list will be increasing with grandkids coming in tomorrow.
Oh, yes.
So that one can change, but the tip of your tongue is not going to change. Your blood pressure one is not going to change. Your balance is not going to change, right? So you need to get with somebody that can help you assess, okay, what areas of your brain and your stress system and possibly your circulation need attention. The first thing is, okay, there's with these tests, there's no urgency, there's no emergency, unless, for example, you stand up with your blood pressure drops and you pass out. That's not good.
That sounds like an emergency.
Yeah, that's an emergency. Okay. But if you just get a little dizzy, most people will blow it off and say, I'm okay.
What were those 5 words? Maybe this will go away.
Yeah. 5 most dangerous words in the English language. Maybe it will go away. But then there's the second 5 most dangerous words in the English language. And that is, it's probably going to get worse.
Yep.
We should do a show on favorite words. It's like, okay, well, I'm thinking about this. What are the 4 most favorite words your wife loves to hear?
That's a great one. And let's save that for another show.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I mean, I can't tell you. Can I whisper?
No, this is
it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah, I know, but Doc, this is the hook, right? Hook. We get them in, right? Okay. Now they're going to come back for the next show to get those 4 words.
Excuse me, I forgot. We have to have stage presence.
That's correct.
Okay. So on our next show,
perfect
magic words. Okay, so you have to come up with the lingo, but we obviously we're not going to lead with that one either, right? Nope. We got to save that one. What do they call that? It's basically the tease, right? It's like you say it at the end of a segment, and so everybody says, "Oh yeah, he's going to talk about that when they come back from commercial." Well, they don't do that right away, right?
No, because then they tune out.
There's a name for that stuff, isn't there?
There is. This is not my domain, so
and obviously not mine.
Yeah, but we're here to help our listeners. So
yes. Okay. So with that exception that, when you stand up, your blood pressure drops and you literally lose consciousness, that is an emergency. And most people would know that before even attempting these tests. They just know I have to get up slowly and I have to watch my head and what. So the bottom line is they might need some help with the lower part of their brain to help them with the balance stuff. And there's some simple exercises that can be done with that. The chest expansion, they're going to need to start doing some things to help their chest get bigger. That can be purposeful movements. I call it restorative or passive yoga or Tai Chi. So when you get, and there's lots of great stuff online now that they can do that. So but if you want to do it in person, either case, I always tell patients, okay, if you're going to do any purposeful movement, there must be 3 things that happen. Number 1, there's a posture or a position you are trying to get your body into.
Okay.
Then the second thing is that there must be a purpose for the exercise. You want to make your shoulder move more. You want to make your chest expand and get bigger. And then the third thing is there has to be a breathing component of how to execute the exercise. So when you move into this position, you breathe in. When you move out of that position, you breathe out. So it has to have those 3 things.
It has to have
posture, a purpose,
and breathing.
And breathing.
Okay.
And so if you go to an instructor and they don't give you those 3 things when they say, okay, lay on your back, push up on your arms as hard as okay, you're in the wrong place. They have to give you those 3 things.
Yep.
Okay. And on the internet too. So if you search YouTube and want to do it on YouTube, that's great too. Just make sure they give you those 3 things with each exercise.
Posture, purpose, and breathing.
Correct.
Cool.
Okay, so that's gonna start to get that. Now you might have to get some adjustments on your thoracic spine to mobilize your ribs. If you've got some scar tissue from old injuries, or you've had some accidents that have developed some scar tissues where the muscles just cannot lengthen anymore, so you might need some physical treatment on your rib cage, on your spine, on your diaphragm, on the muscles that control breathing to help chest expansion.
Got it. Thank you.
Okay, so now for the balance stuff. The easy hard thing is to just keep trying to do one of the standing on one foot. So after I had my bike wreck, one of the things I went with a group of my buddies, they talked me into this. They took me on a Jeep trip to the various peaks in the Colorado Rockies.
Mm-hmm.
And it was something totally out of my wheelhouse. And so we had so much fun. But what I did was they said, Doc, what are you doing there? I was doing, I don't know if this is what it's called, but I was doing the one-legged Buddha stance, where you stand on one leg and you bend your leg and you put your hands over your head, right?
Yep.
So, and I said, okay, I need to do more of this. So literally every day, every time we went to a summit, I would do it for at least 1 minute on each foot.
And building the strength, but also the balance and the skill to make the balance work. Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
So again, but I was also doing the breathing component too, and then I was at altitude too. So it was like the scenery was magnificent. It was just like totally awesome.
Yeah, the energy would have been great, but also the lack of oxygen.
But I still had to use my brain to stand up and do it. So they could simply take the test, right, and see, okay, if you could only do it for 5 seconds on your left foot, but you could do it for 10 seconds on your right foot, then first thing in the morning, after you get, before you get ready to leave for work, before you put your shoes on, stand on your left foot for 5 seconds. Okay. Stand on your right foot for 10 seconds, but then repeat the left foot for 5 seconds. Okay. And then the next day, try to stand on your left foot for 6 seconds. So try and lengthen it out.
Build your skill, but also your endurance in those muscles. Yep.
Absolutely. So now, if you've had a car accident where you've had a whiplash and your head hit the seat back, or you've had a concussion, or if you can't get that to increase, then you're going to need to have some kind of at least cursory brain examination that you might need more help than just trying to do the exercise longer and harder, so to speak.
Yep.
But that's something easy. They can start doing that at home. They can just say, okay, I can only do it 5 seconds on one side. My other side's better, but I can make both of them better by trying it every day.
Cool. That sounds great.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So now tip of the tongue, that's the hardest one, because you're going to have to do lots of things to get your body to calm down in order for the reflection of your internal environment to go away from the tip of the tongue. So that one is like, don't be looking in the mirror every day, because it's not going to change just because you could stand on both feet for 10 seconds now.
Got it. Okay.
The one on the center of your breastbone. Okay. That's a specific acupuncture point. So for example, I use that in the clinic every day on just about every patient. And so that tells me, if they need acupuncture and where do I do the acupuncture. So again, if that one stays sensitive for a long time, you might need to come in and get a little bit of acupuncture treatment to get that under control, because of other systems now starting to malfunction and your body just slipping just a little bit, right? And again, these are just little red flags, but you get enough little red flags coming up on the dashboard of your car, all of a sudden the car doesn't start, kind of thing. So again, no urgency, no emergency, but these are fun little things that will give you indications of how you're doing.
Cool.
And then the third one, 3 blood pressures. Okay, we're looking for your ability of your blood pressure to change when your head changes position. So when your head goes down, that first number should drop 8 to 10 points. If it doesn't, it possibly could be kidney, liver related, and it might be just kidney congestion. You might need to do a detoxification protocol. You might just need to drink more water. It might be that simple.
And I want to make sure on the blood pressure thing, it's about sitting there, right? When you're sitting there, where do you put the blood pressure cuff?
Okay, so pretend that you're a tin soldier, right? So on all of them, if you just leave your arm straight,
just leave it hanging.
Just leave it hanging.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's always going to be hanging, or it's laying beside you, or when you're standing up, it's hanging beside you.
Yeah. That's the easiest.
Okay, got it.
Now, for example, we had a patient that came in literally this morning, and she had a brain tumor that was removed about 16 months ago, and she's doing really well, but she's still having some problems with some memory issues. And so they recommended that she come and see us for some hyperbaric chamber. Well, I went on automatic pilot, and I went to put the blood pressure cuff on her left arm. She says, "No, can you use the other arm?" I said, "Oh, forgive me." And I didn't ask her why, because I knew why, because that's where they did the chemo and all the drugs were IVs were going through her left arm. And so her left arm was a little beat up, so to speak. So it doesn't have to be, it doesn't matter which arm.
But just stayed on the same arm for all 3 positions.
Stay on the same arm for all 3 positions.
Got it. That's really great.
So again, when you sit, but the first one is the important one, because you got to sit quietly with your feet on the ground. If your feet are dangling and they're moving, then your heart could change. its function because it's got to keep blood flowing. So that's why your feet have to be firmly on the ground.
Yep.
Right. Wait 2 minutes, take the blood pressure, then lay down. As soon as your head touches the pillow, so to speak,
yep.
Arms straight, take the blood pressure. That first number should drop at least 8 to 10 points. And
okay.
then stand up. Don't jump up. Stand up. Okay. If you're prone to being dizzy when you stand up, hold on to something, make sure there's somebody there. You might get dizzy even if you're not aware of it, but that first number should now increase 8 to 10 points.
Got it.
So the most common finding is when the person stands up, that first number will either stay the same or it might drop. And that's a red flag that your stress system is under the gun and it needs attention. Sooner is better than later. Got
it. Dr. M, thank you very much for these 5 easy tests that we can continue to run at home. And also like to know that these are not diagnosis things. These are indicators to help us figure out, like, is there something we should go see the doctor about or something we should go get treatment about? And these are great indicators, and I appreciate you sharing those with us today.
Oh, my pleasure. And any one of those things by themselves is insignificant, but you do like 5 little things like that, and all of a sudden they're starting to paint a picture of how you're doing.
Yeah.
Right.
It's really useful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. M.
Oh, my pleasure. This has been awesome. Okay, so now, what are the 4 most cherished words that your wife would like to hear?
Well,
stay tuned.
Stay tuned for next episode. Thanks, Doc.